Hello, welcome back to the Real Respect and some edition of Smackdown Out of 10. This was the final episode of WWE TV before the Elimination Chamber on Saturday, so it's the last chance management had to make any additions or changes to the show. Cody Rhodes is set to meet The Rock on Saturday to decide whether he wants to sell his soul to the final boss. This may sound like the plot of a video game, but it definitely is a wrestling storyline, and we got much more. But we started things off with Tiffany Stratton taking on Chelsea Green. The Toronto crowd welcomed Trish Stratus with a warm reception to the kick off the show. After a brief recap video from last week's episode, she spoke for a few minutes before welcoming Tiff to the ring. Chelsea Green and piping over and interrupted, so the Women's US Champion said she was glad she no longer lived in Canada. Tiffany challenged Chelsea to match. Nick Aldis sent a ref down to make it official. We returned from a break to see the match already in progress, and Green scored a 2 count right when the show came back. They traded and controlled back and forth several times to make this bout feel competitive. Stratton had a slight power advantage, but not enough to make it feel uneven. Sadly, the match ended prematurely when Jackson Ray interfered, so it wasn't enough meat on the bone for this contest to make it anything special, especially with DQ ending. So yeah, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Before we got Andrade against Fatu, Aldis announced a series of matches to determine on contender. This first match featured Solo Sikoa giving a spot to Fatu so he could face Andrade. Fatu caught Andrade off guard with his offense at first, but Alilo quickly regained his footing and took over. Fatu's portrayed as a massive powerhouse, but he and Andrade aren't that different in size. So yeah, you could felt it was an even match up. Fatu had the strength, but Elilo had the agility and speed. A very physical and highly entertaining match. Both guys working their butts off to make it as exciting as possible. And Samoan Werewolf picked up the win with a signature moonsault, and he did it clean without any help at all. So yeah, good stuff. 7 out of 10 from me. As the Street Profits were then making their entrance to take on Angel and Berta, attacked by DIY. Los Garza's Pretty Deadly and MCMG joined the fight too. The match never started because security was unable to get to control. And then we got a video package for Cena and McIntyre interrupted so he could run about how sick he is of it. Jamie and Priest came out and told McIntyre to get over it. Seth Rollins joined and then CM Punk arrived. The biggest surprise came when John Cena's music hit, but it was Logan Paul trolling. The segment ended with Paul running away from Punk. The only man who did not show up was Cena, and yeah, very absent in the build-up, but you know, still probably the favourite to win. Who knows? We'll see tomorrow. We then got LA Knight versus Santos Escobar in the number 1 contenders tournament. Started off with a basic lockup, followed by a sequence of counters and holds. It took a few minutes before they started using strikes. The two have very different styles, so both men were versatile, and it took them time to find their groove. They fought through the break into the next segment and put on a solid performance. It feels like we didn't get to see enough of Escobar these days, so it's great to see him get more ring time. Knight caught Escobar with BFT in midair to score the pin and the win, and yeah, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. This was good stuff. Good win for LA Knight, and yeah, probably the right decision, and building up nicely to that main event before Zayn came out to the ring and invited KO to the ring, and he wasn't in the arena. He was at the venue at Elimination Chamber, standing in the middle of an empty ring, and said that it's all Zayn's fault and he's going to end his career. So yeah, last bit of ball for that, and yeah, it's going to be a pretty brutal match, isn't it? Before we got the final qualifying match in the tournament, Carmelo Hayes taking on Braun Strowman. The monster among men obviously used his size advantage to take control. He didn't let Mano take a break and ran him over like a freight train. Tama Tonga tried to distract while Solo Sikoa attacked Strowman with a chair, but the big man brushed it off and took out both men. Hayes pulled an Eddie Guerrero and made the ref think Strowman used a chair on him to get him disqualified. It was barely a match, but it made Melo look like an opportunist. Did it really work here? I don't know. We've seen it a long time before. I'm not too sure. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10, to be honest. Before we got Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez taking on Bayley, Bianca Belair and Naomi, and most of the women competing inside the chamber in this action. Morgan, Belair, Naomi and Bayley were in control. The only participant was not in it was Alexa Bliss. Naomi and Morgan began throwing hands as soon as the bell rang, and it didn't take long for all 6 women to start calling. A pretty standard bout, and we saw every combination of opponents. Perez got the win with a pop rocks. A decent match that had a good amount of time, but Bliss showing up to attack Perez at the end might have been the most interesting part. A couple of sloppy moments kept it from being, as good as it really maybe could have been. So yeah, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Before we got our main event, Carmelo Hayes versus Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight. Sikoa was giving Fatu a pep talk before he walked to the ring for the main event. Hayes was a fresh competitor due to the match being quickest, but all three looked like they had lasting effects. Hayes tried to form a partnership with Fatu, but was ignored by the Smackdown Werewolf. Knight tried to take Fatu down with Bulldog, but it had no effect. While there were no alliances, it felt like Knight and Melo were both fighting an uphill battle against the physically dominant far too. All three men had moments to shine, but there was a match, it was most fun. They were involved doing spots with everyone. Knight ended up stealing the win by putting Fatu out of the ring and hitting a moonsault on Hayes. This allowed Megastar to get the win and earn a shot at the US title. It felt like that was the direction we're going anyway. Just a slightly long-winded way of getting there, I guess. But, I'll go at 7 out of 10. Decent match, and I think, probably a good rematch too. And overall, SmackDown gets 6 out of 10 for me. It was obviously heavily dominated by a bit of a rushed US title match. So I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I thought it dominated by that. Was it really best thing to see before the show? I'm not too sure. But there's some intriguing stuff on there. So on the whole, 6 out of 10.
Hey guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on our socials. Link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.